So, it's finally happened. We all wished that this would happen. We were all praying for it. We all guessed that it would happen eventually. And now the day has finally come. It's pretty remarkable, no matter how you spin it. Keir Starmer, the mad, demented tyrant, is finally gone. I just finished watching his resignation speech. Even as I got the news on my Twitter feed, even as I began to hear consistently across multiple sources that he was finished, that his whole cabinet demanded that he resign, and that he was going to make a resignation timetable speech the following Monday, even then I could scarcely believe it. There are some things you just can't accept, you can't believe until you witness it with your own eyes. And this is one of them. I don't think we've ever had a prime minister as profoundly unpopular and as roundly hated by the British people as Keir Starmer. I mean, there are probably some historians, some nerdy politics buff might look at me and say, oh, excuse me, what about this? What about so-and-so from 1850 whatever? What about this guy? Look, I'm not going to dispute. It's not as though he may well be the least popular prime minister throughout our entire country's history. That's a statement that I don't exactly feel qualified to make, but he's certainly the least popular prime minister in living memory. Quite possibly the least popular prime minister in the entire past 100 years, although don't quote me on that. What was his net popularity rating last I checked? Wasn't it something like minus 47%? I think he's even less popular than Tony Blair, and Tony Blair himself is already sort of a bipartisan hate figure for people on the left and the right. So that really takes some achievement, if you think about it. That is quite some achievement, to be less popular than the man who declared an illegal war in Iraq, the man who's lobbied for years to implement digital ID, and the man who opened up Britain's borders to mass immigration, the man under whose tenure we would eventually have the financial crash. And yet, and he didn't even manage to complete a full term for that to happen. I wonder if historians will look back and study this period of our history. I think I remember checking, I remember seeing this little fact somewhere on Twitter, so that the last time we had a prime minister who completed a full term was 17 years ago. Yeah, that was under David Cameron and the Lib Dem coalition from 2010 to 2015, I think it was. Ever since then, it's just been a revolving door of new prime ministers, new party leaders. Public trust in government and the institutions is falling through the floor. And I don't think Andy Burnham's going to be any different. I mean, Andy Burnham's certainly more popular than Keir Starmer, don't get me wrong. He definitely has his supporters, especially in places like Makerfield. But is he alone going to be able to save? Is he going to be able to rescue the poisoned brand of the Labour Party? I don't think so. I think he'll do his best. I think there are things that Andy Burnham would like to do under his tenure. I think there are these idealistic left-wing socialist policies And right, look, I haven't actually looked up what Andy Burnham believes. I'm not that much of a buff, but I understand that he kind of represents the old left. He represents sort of the Labour Party and what it used to be before it got taken over by the managerial technocracy in the late 90s. But even if there are things Andy Burnham does want to do, I don't think it's going to save him or the Labour Party. Really, I don't see things getting better for the Labour Party from here on out. I bet lots of people are going to be celebrating this day. Lots of people are going to be partying in the street. I'm probably going to pop open a bottle of champagne and have a drink. Actually, hold on. Joking aside, there was one positive quality for Keir Starmer. I made a video months ago. I made a video in late 2000. Was it 2025? Or no. It was probably over a year ago. I made a video talking about why I loved Keir Starmer, because Keir Starmer was the perfect pantomime villain. He was so radioactive and toxic as a party leader that he would be instrumental in sinking the electoral viability of the Labour Party. He would be to the Labour Party what Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss would be to the Tories. See, I've said this before, the only way that we can get close to seeing real change happen in this country is that we need to convince the wider general public that there is a real alternative to Labour and Tories. The two-party duopoly of Labour and Conservatives needs to collapse. And that can't happen until both Conservatives and Labour absolutely take a beating in the polls, one after the other. And it's for that reason, mainly, that I wanted Keir Starmer to stick around for as long as possible. I wouldn't have minded Starmer completing his entire term. But I guess there's nothing for it. I did the best I could campaigning in Makerfield so that our own candidate, Rebecca Shepherd, could win the by-election. But Andy Burnham is just too popular. And I don't think it's any secret at this point that he's going to be our next Prime Minister. The only question is, what sort of future will we expect to see? Will it be any better? Will it be any worse? I don't think anyone's in a position to say right now. I don't think it will get any better, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, this has been Tracking. What are your thoughts on Keir Starmer's resignation? Are you celebrating? Are you dancing in the street? Are you having a drink? Or are you sitting with mild trepidation, with your feet fidgeting and your hands wringing together, thinking, please don't let the next 2 years be worse, please don't let it get worse? Let me know in the comments. This has been Tracking. You guys take care.